The deal is done. The Detroit Lions come to terms with their selection for the #1 pick overall, Georgia quarterback Matthew Stafford. For the very latest, let's check in with Mary Strong.
All right, Fran, thanks. Some big news to tell you about in the NFL. Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions have just agreed on a 6-year deal. His agents told the Associated Press that the Lions will reportedly pay Stafford $41.7 million in guarantees and as much as $78 million. Quarterback Matt Ryan, the #3 pick in last year's draft, was signed to a $72 million 6-year contract with $34.75 million guaranteed by the Atlanta Falcons. Now let's compare Stafford to some of the other first-round draft selections. Take a look. Last year's pick, Jake Long, he signed a 5-year, $57.8 million deal, $30 million guaranteed. Quarterback Jamarcus Russell, he got a 6-year deal worth $61 million, $29.2 guaranteed. Mario Williams, 6 years, $54 million, $26.5 million guaranteed. And quarterback Alex Smith, 6 years, $57 million, $24 of that guaranteed. And for more on this story, let's bring in our own Steve White, who is in St. Louis for us. Hi, Steve. Walk us through the deal with Stafford. The numbers aren't too shabby there.
Numbers not too shabby at all. I spoke with Stafford's agent, Tom Condon, earlier Friday evening. He broke down the numbers for you, and he basically said this has been an exhaustive negotiation. They really locked things down over the past 3 days to the point where Condon said he hasn't had dinner since then. Now, it was clear beginning Thursday that the Lions had locked in on Stafford. There was some talk that they had agreement in principle with Wake Forest linebacker Aaron Curry, but Stafford was the guy. They made everything happen they had to happen. There was a few hang-ups late. They've agreed to the deal. They expect the writing and the signing of this contract to probably take place over the weekend, and then Matthew Stafford could be the next quarterback for the Detroit Lions.
Steve, talk about the guaranteed money in this deal.
Yeah, nearly $42 million in guarantees. That's more than Pro Bowl defensive tackle Albert Haynesworth got as a free agent with the Washington Redskins. This is a very high sum of money, which, again, you're going to start hearing people talk about the need to put some caps on these rookie salaries. But it does kind of fall in line with some of the contracts for rookie quarterbacks over the past few years with the natural escalation. It probably isn't a price that Detroit wanted to pay, but it was a price that they had to pay if they wanted to get Stafford under contract.
Now, do you see Stafford starting his rookie year, or do you see him taking a backseat to Dante Culpepper?
Well, initially it looks like he will kind of groom under Dante Culpepper, but at some point people are going to look at the money and say, hey, we're paying this guy all this money to hold a clipboard, and there may be some pressure to play Matthew Stafford, but what Detroit's coaching staff is going to do is to see how Matthew Stafford handles himself at the mini camps and OTAs. They're not going to worry so much about the throws he makes, but they're going to see how his teammates respond to him, how he responds to his teammates, and if he has that natural leadership quality that maybe Matt Ryan showed last year in the offseason, they might put him out there. Now, they might give Dante Culpepper 7 or 8 games to see how the season goes, but at some point I would expect to see Matthew Stafford in that starting lineup.
Now the Rams are on the clock. What do you think they're going to do with the #2 pick?
Well, it looks like the Rams are going to take Baylor offensive tackle Jason Smith. Now, remember, they lost Orlando Pace. They let him go after the season in a salary cap move, and they need to replenish the offensive line. Plus, they want to get bigger and more athletic. They want to keep quarterback Matt Bulger on his feet, and Steven Jackson, the running back, they want to keep him upright and able to run. So if they get Jason Smith, the offensive tackle from Baylor, he looks like the guy who fits what they want to do offensively. There is a shot they could go with the University of Virginia offensive tackle Eugene Monroe, but right now it looks like they'll be selecting Jason Smith.
And now all eyes are pretty much on quarterback Mark Sanchez. What can we expect there?
Well, this is where the real intrigue is going to be in the first half of the draft tomorrow, because there's a lot of speculation that Seattle is going to take him at #4 and that some teams may try to leapfrog into that #3 spot to get Sanchez in case Seattle decides to draft him. But based on some developments today, some teams may be calling Seattle's bluff, so to speak, to see if they're going to take him and maybe wait until to see if Sanchez gets beyond Seattle, and then you're going to start to see some action. There's apparently a lot of teams that would like to get to Jacksonville at #8, and Jacksonville would like to trade out of that spot, and they would probably move up there to try to get Sanchez. We know the New York Jets and the Washington Redskins are two of the teams that may try to get up there to get the USC quarterback.
And lastly, Steve, what's the latest on Anquan Boldin?
Well, latest on Anquan Boldin is right now it doesn't look like he's going to be moved. The Arizona Cardinals, they they are still asking for what I was told is at least one first-round pick and likely more to get Bolden. Now, they haven't set, according to the team, any parameters as to what it's going to take to get Bolden. They're saying, you make us an offer and we'll discuss it. Now, Rod Graves on the team website today said that they've only had one offer, and it apparently wasn't good enough because Anquan Bolden is still on the roster. If they get through this draft without trading Bolden, then you'll probably see them hunker down to try to work out a long-term deal to pacify Bolden and to keep him a member of the franchise for several years to come.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. We'll see you for more draft coverage tomorrow. And again, recapping our top story, Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions agreeing on a 6-year deal Friday night. Lions will pay Stafford $41.7 million in guarantees and as much as $78 million.